Hi, I'm Steven, the Teen Services Coordinator with the Denham Springs Walker Branch Library, and welcome back to another STEAM Saturdays. Let's go over our rules. Rule number 1, never attempt anything we do without the supervision of an adult. Rule number 2, follow all the instructions we do exactly. Rule number 3, never eat or put anything in your mouth unless instructed to do so. And rule number 4, always wear safety equipment when we're dealing with chemicals. Luckily today, we do not have to wear gloves or safety glasses. All right, on today's science. Today we're going to learn about and play around with aerodynamics and thrust. If you're following along with me at home, the items you will need are some yarn, some scissors, some tape, something to write with, something to write on, a balloon, a wide straw like a smoothie straw, and a couple pieces of paper. So first, let's take a look at aerodynamics. Aerodynamics is the study of the motion of air, particularly as it interacts with a solid object in motion. If something is aerodynamic, it has a shape that reduces drag from the air moving past it. A fun way to play around with aerodynamics is with paper airplanes. Today we'll be making 2 paper airplanes. One is the general shape that everybody knows how to make the paper airplane, and the other one is a little bit harder. It's called the condor. I'll show you how to make those in just a second. Let's take a look at our chart. First we have our observations. We're going to test and see which plane flew farther. We're going to see which plane flew faster, and we're going to see which plane stayed in the air longer, and the dart or the condor. So I'm going to sit down and we'll show you how to make the dart. We're going to start by folding our piece of paper in half and putting that crease down the middle. I like to call this the hot dog fold because when you open it up, it looks like a hot dog bun. Now that we have our fold down the middle and our 2 sides are equal, we're going to fold down the top corners to that middle fold. Line it up as best we can. Make a crease. Do that again on the other side. I'm really bad at handcrafts, you guys. There. So now we have a vague house shape. Once we have our house, we're going to take our farthest corner on each side and fold that down towards the middle line again. Doing our best to line it up, make a crease, and do that on both sides. Hopefully our wings are about the same size. And we've created this tent shape. Once we have this tent shape, we can fold it in half along that original fold, our original crease, to make a fold across the bottom. Now that we have our triangle, kind of a triangle, we want the fold part to be on the bottom. We'll take our wing, our first wing, and a little over halfway down, we want this to be about 1.5 inches over here, and we'll make our first wing. Then just turn it over to make our second one. Try and line up your wings so they will be the same size. And voila, we've made a dart. Now on to the condor. The condor is a bit more complicated, but I believe in you if you believe in me. So we will start similarly to the other one, but instead of our paper being up and down, we're going to turn it sideways. I call this a hamburger fold. We're going to fold it in half where it is short and stuffy. Unfold it just like this. And just like with the dart, we're going to make a little house shape by folding down the top corners to that middle crease. There we go. See our house. And this is where the similarities end between the dart and the condor. We're now going to take the top of our roof and fold it down to the bottom of our roof shape to make a little upside down triangle. There we go. So we had a house and we just folded this down. At this point, this is what your paper should look like. And now this is, in my opinion, the hardest part of the condor. We are about 3/4 of an inch. We need to make a flap that goes right down here. So we want to make sure this line stays vertical and fold that over, just like that. And we'll do that on both sides. I'm not doing this well yet. Vertical fold, and down. There we go. Now that we have an M shape with our tiny vertical folds and our upside down triangle, making an M, we can fold our condor in half. Try to make it as even as possible. And then about 1.5 inches away from the bottom, we want to fold it and make our wings. And do the same with the other side, matching the bottom to see if our wings are as close to the same size as possible. And then our final step is to about the same size, 3/4 inch, we want to fold up a little flap to make a little spoiler. And we'll do that for both wings. All right, and now we have dart and a condor. Now that we have our dart and our condor, we can go back to our chart and make sure we are seeing which plane flew farther, which plane flew faster, and which plane stayed in the air longer. So I'm gonna throw mine. And awesome. Okay, now that we've all thrown our planes from home and here, go back to our chart and you're going to want to discuss with your adult which plane flew farther and why do you think that is, which plane flew faster and why do you think that is, and which plane stayed in the air longest and why do you think that is. Part of your discussion should be centered around the opposing forces of thrust and drag. As we touched upon earlier, drag force is the friction that resists an object in motion as it's flying through space. And thrust is its opposite. Thrust is the force in which an object is pushed or pulled through space. So in our case, how hard we threw our paper airplanes. A fun experiment to see drag or thrust in motion is with our balloon and string, and I've got that all set up over here. Let's take a look. We can play around with the concept of thrust by tying a string across a wide flat surface. If you can see, I have Danielle here helping me hold it up straight. If you've watched any of our book talks, you should be watching our book talks. You will recognize Danielle. Okay, on this string, I have threaded a small piece of straw that I have cut down to size and put 2 pieces of tape on it. I'm going to blow up a balloon, tape it to the straw, and then we will witness thrust in motion. I've noticed if you tape it closer to the end of the balloon, this works better. So our force of air inside the balloon is going to propel itself out or thrust, and we will see it go forward. 3, 2, 1, thrust. Thank you for joining me for another STEAM Saturdays. I hope you had fun. I will see you next time.